Hi, how are you doing, Dennis?
I'm excellent. How are you?
Great. I'm starting my morning off right, getting to speak with you, so I'm excited.
Oh, bless you, man. Thank you.
So I have to tell you to start off, your portrayal of Manute was fantastic. I loved it. So I just wanted to get that out of the way and let you know that I thought that you did a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So let's start off. As far as, the character Manute, what research did you do for the role, and were you familiar with, Frank Miller's graphic novels, or had you seen the first film?
I got more familiar with his graphic novels after watching the first film. And once I got on set, I just, I just, barraged, Frank with questions about Manute and just got into his head about him. I said, man, just tell me everything that you think Manute is about, and I'll tell you what I think he's about, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong. And because I'm a big fan of putting a backstory together, and I knew that they were going to flush out Manute's character more in this particular episode. So I just asked him a barrage of questions about him, and it just gave him some insight of my personal insight of what I thought was going on, and we kind of agreed that he utilized voodoo to get his power,
Oh.
and so I said, oh wow, okay, that made me reflect back in a small way to Pedro Serrano, but only on a much more sinister level. I mean, with Pedro was probably very light, voodoo work, but he got into more of the serpent and the rainbow type of style of voodoo, and I said, I think I'll just run with that, and he kept his power by being in service to whomever his boss was at the time, and at this particular point, it was Eva Green's power, and I just ran with that.
Ah, interesting. So is that part of the reason why, like halfway through the film where he mentions that Ava is a goddess, is that kind of where that came from, was the whole voodoo background?
Well, that and just how he felt about her, she has a way of disarming anyone, and Manute was no different. I think it was safe to say that not only did he work for her, is that he worshipped her and loved her. She was, she's a beautiful woman, without question. And for a man monster like Manute, he gravitated to that and protected her even more because of it. So there had to be something vested in order to protect her the way he did and to fight for her the way he did. So, and also, at the latter part of the film where there's another aspect to it, I won't give that away. But, it's one of those things I had to embrace with the character, because I wanted to go as far out there as I could, within the confines of the script.
Right. So you've played some very well-known heroic characters. You've got Jonas Blaine in The Unit. You've got President Palmer in 24. And even some fans may not know, but you voiced Kilowog in the Justice League animated series. So you've got, all of these heroes under your belt. How did you like playing the villain in A Dame to Kill For, and how was that different?
That's just fun. I think you talk to any actor, they say, you have so much more creative license, and you can just go, further, playing a villain, because, almost anything that you do is correct. And, but it's also controlled. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun to go to that dark side. But also when you're playing a villain, I don't think villains ever think of themselves as villains. They have there's always a reason for what they do.
Right.
And the reason always, seems correct to them.
Right. That's a great point. So do you see more villains in your future?
You know what? I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun to play Apocalypse.
Oh, great character. Talk about baddest of the bad right there. That's awesome.
I would love to be, injected into that X-Men universe. I love these things. I just saw, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I totally loved it.
Oh, great film. Well, so that brings up the question: Are you into comic books? Are you a comic book fan, or is it more kind of as a necessity now with the roles that you've done?
Well, I used to be in the comic books a lot more than I am now, but with these movies coming out and the comics, I actually have to get back into my comics. And, looking at things like the Walking Dead and how they're executing and bringing these comics to the screen. I think it'd be interesting to, start reading up on a lot of these, these characters that you haven't seen yet and see what's out there and see which ones I can bring to the screen.
That's great. So, as far as comic book titles, what titles were your favorite? What ones did you kind of keep up with before?
Well, I always used to keep up with John Stewart, the Black Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. Love to get into that universe. Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, one of my favorites.
I used to enjoy. All the DC favorites and the Marvel favorites. I love the X-Men, love the Avengers. Superman, Batman. The classics. Are always great. But I think the ultimate, the ultimate superhero is Green Lantern. I loved John Stewart as Green Lantern. The fact of using that power ring and using your imagination, however, strong your imagination is, you can make those constructs. And this is fascinating to me. I think the Green Lantern can beat Superman.
Oh, that's starting trouble right there. That's wonderful to find a comic book fan in Hollywood that actually knows a bit about comics and not just the new ones.
Oh yeah, no, the classics are the best, but I like the nuances and the new ones they keep bringing out. I used to like one called Hawk and Dove.
Oh yes.
And they were brothers, but since the Hawk was so aggressive, the Dove was actually stronger. So that was really an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Well, and how did you like the female Dove when they went that route?
You know what? I didn't know that they went a female Dove. I think I probably got out of it by that time.
Oh, okay.
But I'd love to read up on that. That's interesting. So they became brother and sister?
Well, no, it was actually the brother. I can't remember how it happened, but he got killed, and then a new Dove came aboard, and it was actually one of the comics that I followed for a little while. But I was probably kind of like you. I kept up with them for quite a while, and then fell away from it a little bit, and then now obviously I'm back into them pretty heavily. So.
Okay.
So back to A Dame to Kill For. Robert Rodriguez mentioned that there were no sets for the film, everything was green screened, and that there are really very few props used during filming. How challenging was that? And was that something that you kind of got used to after a little bit, or was it strange throughout?
Well, I tell you something. It was a challenge up to the point where you said, you know what, this is actually kind of cool, because you're working with threadbare sets, so you have to utilize your imagination, and actually it helps you focus on the other actor a lot more. And as you focused on the actors and on the work itself, I think it allowed Robert and Frank and their creativity to draw something around you that was conducive to the performance you were giving. So I think it helped. Our performances helped them come up with the drawings and the backgrounds that eventually help us in telling the story.
So is that something that you think will start becoming more common in Hollywood? I mean, he kind of went away from the conventions of Hollywood with how he's done everything. Do you think that'll become a little more commonplace?
Well, I think it will begin to. I think what Frank did with the 300 movies, it kind of works. I never thought for an instant that those guys were not on those ships. I just saw the latest 300, and it was just wonderful the way that they did it. And it was seamless. The actors looked so focused on what they were doing that you never doubted for a second that they were on, land, ships, horses, elephants, whatever else that they were using. I think it was visually stunning. And I think if you can execute it in that fashion, it's great.
How do you feel now that the film's completed? Is there anything that you would have done differently or that you would have changed with your performance or with the film overall?
Well, I can't really say that because I haven't seen the whole film yet. I've just seen trailers, and I just know how I felt when I did it. And I felt pretty darn good. So I can't wait to see it. Especially in 3D, and I can't wait to see all the other actors that were in it that I didn't work directly with. I'm just like all the other fans. I'm going to get my popcorn and my soda and sit there on the edge of my seat and just enjoy the ride.
That's great. Hey, I really appreciate the time, Dennis. I can't wait to hear how you feel about the film and when you see it, and talk to you later with your future projects.
Sounds great, Chad. I look forward to it.
Have a good one. Goodbye.